adaptation is going to be through and through and through the theming that we need to see.
Well, how about instead of adaptation, some evolution? Vito once again getting picked up, was picked up over on Sunset, actually, by Mochi. So handing it off to Molzy here. I think it's nice. It'll get maybe a bit more of a comfortable pick. And I think Hazan Cairo put it very well. I think it was Cairo actually that said he really wanted to see it run in kind of a double sentinel because Molzy, all he has, right, is that chokehold, that singular kind of tether style, but more triggerable, not having to be chucked and immediately triggered. So I don't think it has as much grasp power, but you couple that with a swarm grenade or something and it is gonna be absolutely lethal. But on the other side of things, look at this. We talked about unpredictability and righting the wrongs of the past and switching things up. Q80 full departure away, I would say, from a little bit more of the stock standard, and we're gonna see, I was hoping we'd see the Waylay Yoru, but a Yoru Neon as well and a Clove as well for Anita. Super strong, I would say.
It is. I'm going to be curious to see how this kind of actually plays out a little bit. With Clove not really being used as one of the top examples of smokes on Haven. A little bit more of a niche pick.
Big map.
Yeah.
I think it's very rank like mentality. So is the ISO, but I'm excited to see that with the Yoru. I think it'll just be Anita's gonna have to be playing Garage, gonna have to be playing backside B a lot just to be that rotate player. But I think the medals can be really good for setting up the team for success if you are worried about the aim. But speaking of setup, look at the matching player cards. Can we give a second to shout out NOVO Nightingale for that? I love the player cards. Outside of that, though, one thing I did want to mention as well is going back to the map video and how he landed on Haven. How Qadsiah got the choice between Haven and Sunset. Sunset being the map that Novo lost 3-13. So they had the power, okay, do we conquer our demons or do we fight them in their hellscape? And this is exactly what they chose to do. So if it's a blowout, it's kind of like the ball was in their court and they missed it.
Yeah.
So I do like this, though. Starting on the defense as well for Qadsiah gives you that opportunity, again with the double duelist in particular, to take that initiative, to take those fights early on. You can guide the tempo as you please, but I am a little bit worried because unlike how Bind started off in our previous best of one, this feels like it's going to be a head-on collision affinity.
It does appear to be a bloodbath in mid. Just what we ordered, and immediately Felipe, lovely pick there. It's a little bit more. Vova is going to be the one to find the, at least not equalizing, but kill to try and get them back in and stop this spiraling too far. And actually hasn't really dipped too far. Still hanging around in a very dangerous position here. Very volatile. Needs Forcugs to kind of step up a little bit here. Gonna fall back onto site here. Molzy holding for the angle. So much to do there. The scan, though, is going to come on through. Doesn't quite get killed off the back of it. Amber, there's a lovely find. Molzy with one of their own. And it's bloodbath kills back and forth. 1 versus 1 here. Both kind of have a rough idea. And there it is, the immediate flick back over. The low HP is going to be really damning. But there it is. Reaper going to find the defuse and put a round on the board for them.
Yeah, I mean, the Vito utility kind of ate away at the clock a little bit. They really did respect the util grab of the interceptor, but that's the only form of respect that they were giving the side of NOVO Nightingale here. Otherwise, it was just aggressive to the start and in to the finish. I mean, these kills as well from Anva, the follow-up, it was perfect ping-pong action, and while the backside players were able to hold down the fort for the time being, it was just too much HP lost, and Felipe able to get that round through. We get the buy up here. Oh, no. This is disrespected at NOVO. A Bulldog and 2 Stingers? What are you hoping to do with that?
Well, hoping for something aggressive, I'd imagine. Anva spots all of this going on forward and has to just fall back off site. That's so quick onto the site there. Trying to get ahead of this, though. Spots somebody jumping across, and Crosshair is distracted for just a second there. Forcugs does find one Felipe as well, but unfortunately being chased on down all the way off the site, and there's no one even remotely near the B site right now.
And honestly, I'm surprised that we're actually seeing the Neon fight this. Majuzi just had to hold down the A-Link, but again, they're like, we pot up the weapons, we get the second round thrifty, we're taking the fight to you. And this is interesting and kind of PTSD because Qadsiah won the pistol and then lost their second round up against
Yes.
Poke as well.
It was almost the case, and I remember Hazard asked, has anybody ever won both pistols and then lost 13-2, I think it was.
Wow, I think they lost 13-3 at least, you know? Because Qadsiah won both oh,
But
anyway,
then that's bad, because it's not quite history-making either, you know? It's a loss,
no,
but it's not even...
Yeah. What was I gonna say, though? But the thing is, though, Falca didn't force, though, I'm pretty sure. So the fact that Novo did here is insane. And the fact that they're this prepared as well for this aggro A fight, even designing the cross-cut TPs around it, and it still is getting dismantled. Look at this! Oh.
They're not doing Mochi minis. Oh, and they do successfully do so. Mochi fights too. And then Sandra's now... It is enough. Sandra finds the kill, but that's going to be the spike going on down on C. It's going to be a frantic rush on over, but regardless of how you slice this, success, I'd argue, and still the opportunity for a little bit more. Avova, though, has already managed to cross on over. Sandra knows it might be an idea, but there's the timing. Peeks on out, finds the kill. Actually can go forward and collect an upgraded weapon as well now for Lisa.
Standing ahead.
So much weight on their shoulders. Nothing going to be spotted out by this. Taken down long range there by Ryota. And a second round. It is converted, but it's not inexpensive.
Yeah, I mean, from the opener, again, really strong like we saw in the pistol round. It was just, again, the heroics, the bait as well. Ryota backing off, Mochi saying, I got this, and gets it back to the 2-on-2. I was worried because the Bulldog in Sandra's hands, most deadly weapon. But I really liked how Avova played the timing there perfectly. Trusted in Ryota to hold on to the garage angle, since that's where the drone came from as well. So swift communication between the 2v2 allows Nova to stay ahead. Evolution online as well, and so got Qadsiah again want to go for this mid challenge. Working with pistol. Can it work again? Not the same luck this time around, Yoru.
Not quite. They are still funneling in towards mid to try make something of it. Unfortunately, they make a mess of it.
Again?
And Felipa, paranoia, you just want to back on off, but unfortunately jumped on up. There is going to be no escaping from that. And now Sandra, oh, clean as you like it. There's the final kill to come on through for the round.
Yeah, a little difficult, a little reminiscent of the first Haven, where it's just Novo taking fight after fight. And you can see that Qadsiah, they're also just like giving them those fights back. Like they're willing to play into them as well. And it's just unfortunate that the trades right now are so strong on Nova's side. The util, I think, is more oppressive as well. I mean, just looking at the composition difference, right? Like, you have rear label stuns, you have paranoias. The only thing I'm really scared of util-wise on Qadsiah's side is that metal, right? You can even turn a Yoru flash. So, like, to me, it's not too scary to fight out in the open with. And that's exactly what they're winning.
Here we go. Turret going down is going to alert Sandra. And now getting ready there. They've got a lot of space proactive towards garage. They're not going to have heard anything, though. Now players filling in from A to take a hold of that B control, mid control. Make sure nothing's funny is going on over there. Because they've got so much presence taken by A. They've got all of the information, but they need to find the kills. Or at least not be found themselves. Avova with another. They've already got this side on lockdown. Mochi looks back, takes down Borkux, and there it is. There's the Hunter Fury coming on out. It's good. It's getting a little bit of information, but unfortunately now as the last player left alive, investment of it, and you're not going to be able to get the full force. And now Felipa, walking blind into Mochi. And that round won and lost off the back of such an early ironclad grip on C.
I mean, it's not even that, right? Like, the fact that there's only 2 players execing, maybe 3 if you count the late Sova, onto the C site. They have double sentinels to handle any of this aggression, right? They have, obviously, the veto outside of A. The Killjoy locking down grass and window. It's an insane pre-round setup, and then they're just trusting in their spear and Avova to set them up as well on this Yoru, and they still get the site. They still overwhelm the Sandra anchor. And then the Hunter's Fury exec on an eco as well in a 2v4. It felt a little bit miscalmed, and now, I mean, with the confidence, with the sheer number of ults, yeah, you can definitely get up onto the B site really quick, especially with a crosscut.
And there you have it as well. Evolution Online. Mulsi hunting for more there. There's the first pick and a dip on back there as well. Spike planted for them to fall on off. That's the kill contract. Unfortunately, only finds it can't pull in. Mosey and Evolution. Unfortunate there, and Mosey's going to hold down the trigger,
What a
gets two
one-way.
gifted. Sandra's got one with the judge, now peeks around the corner for a fourth, and Mosey single-handedly does it all. Sandra, what more can
Give
you
him the
find?
ace. They're trying to give it to him.
Ooh. Gonna
They
be
figured
spotted.
out where she is.
Funneling, there it is, lines up the shot, and the ace comes through. The rest of the team just shepherding Sandra in the right direction.
Wow, and this is something else that I love about off-season events, right? Like, yeah, there's money on the line, yeah, there's glory, but it's not as like serious pedal to the metal as tier 1 is, right? You're not taking these risks in tier 1. You're not setting up your teammate for the ace unless it's like, you know, 13-2, 13-1 or the vice versa territory. So this though, every teammate doing their own, right? From the shock dart to the paranoia, just to set Molesy up for success there. And Molesy as well, not getting pulled into the kill contract. We saw that evolution in full swing, and boy, oh boy, was Darwin's theory proved right. But here we go, Philippa, early challenge. Nita could get an effective wrap here. Nobody was handling short. Now the players are rotated back, and they have handled it in stride.
Very much so. Philippa's wondering where the rest of the team has melted off to, and is now being pressured on all fronts. There's a slide on out. Distraction knows that it's going to be a kill one way or another, but it's Multi that finds it. And now Spike can get planted without a shadow of a doubt. And now Forberg's hoping that someone's going to peek. Someone's going to give him the fight a way back in, or a weapon, or just something to work with here. But alas, not going to be allowed. Avova holding on here. It's very messy. They're both doing a lot of damage. Neither able to find a kill just yet. Rome goes on out, but Avova finds the pick. Sandra with one, going desperately for another. Does a lot of damage, but it's not quite the pick, and Ryota will capitalize. A 6th round in a row, taking that early lead. And yeah, it's the attacker's side, but you don't want to let them get much more than this.
Yeah, timeout taken. Feels a little bit late out of Qadsiah, assuming that's who takes it here, but desperately needed nonetheless. I mean, just feels like they're playing very individualistic. They're playing very separated. Other than those kind of early first round like aggro plays, right? And to correct a little bit as well, because we thought that Schwader was going to be in the server, is in fact in the coaching seat. And to shout out for Borkix as well, they were kind of retired for 3 years and then came out of nowhere to return to 7th State Esports, and they made a super deep run in the Red Bull Homeground EMEA qualifier. They made it to quarterfinals. So coming out, aiming, even with the Sheriff, the movement has thrown NOVO off a few times. They almost got the better of them there, had to call in the reinforcements, but that's exactly what NOVO's thriving in. Even though they look very like ego heavy in terms of the fights they're taking, even though they're running over Qadsiah, as soon as things get dicey, they group up. They take the team fights. And that is, I think, speaking to, again, the team we wanted to see on Sunset that we didn't get to, probably because of how clean we did see the squad of S2G playing.
Yeah, and I think as well is that in those Stomp matches, it's very difficult sometimes once you've started down that slippery slope to get off of the slippery slope, right? Which makes it there's a lot less that you can read into it. Now an opportunity around here would stunt NOVO pretty nicely. They've gone for some early aggression out A, and they've not heard anything, which is good information for them to back off of. There has been Molesy left just to do a little bit of damage if they choose not to. And no one's clearing that. No one is expecting Molesy there. Luckily, it's only one pick. There's not more of a hunting party gone on out, and Molesy will go regroup. But still, it's a player disadvantage, and it hurts to see so early. And now the world is their oyster where they can go, gearing up here to go Garage, and Sandra has got so much that needs to be done here.
I don't like the window angle. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, you have a turret for when they're in that mouth of garage, but here all that util will drop, your Yoru will be unsupported, and they don't have a gate crash online either, so they can't get out. They have to perma-anchor the C site. In the meantime, I do really like this Molesy A side fake. It's going to pull Sandra to the B site. It's going to, again, put this heavy pressure with only an operator, by the way. No gate crash on
30 seconds
the Yoru. But, ooh, they just sold this fake even more so. From the shadows into A heaven as the veto falls. The turret, it's too late. Look who's already knocking on your door and garage window. It's Mochi.
Spike planted.
Spike goes down, and what can you even try? Fumble together to get this round back in control.
Get out.
Get the AWP, get out. But even that might not be certain. You know, the Mochi probably still hanging around the corner. They're good for more. Returns to life, and actually needs to find a kill pretty quickly here. But Felipe's found the first, and that's going to put a little bit of weight and pressure on. Ryota's got one, Felipe with another, but now it just has to be Felipe round the corner, and there is the pick. A 7th in a row, and it's all off the back of that garage control. That garage pop does everything and more.
The fake, though, was so beautifully layered and crafted as well, right? From the Molzy utility, which you can hear, right? From the site to from the shadows when they didn't think they were quite selling it either. So Mochi here, just a huge round, and we're seeing that trend continue that we saw in the last best of one, that these well-rounded teams that have strong players both in the GC, both in the tier 2, and maybe even the tier 1 like this team, are the ones that are going to shine. And, I mean, boy oh boy has it this series so far, looking similarly dominant. If we get the same exact score development, I'm gonna cry. But 7-1, again, they're overwhelming these aggressive attempts out of the double duelist to take space on A. So, hey, Dimensional Drift, yeah, nerfed, no flashes, no nothing, just confirmation on how many are here. How do you use it this time around?
Lockdown's gonna come on out, but no immediate response. Hanging around a little more, want to do the damage ahead of it. And there's gonna be a peek on out from Nita. Will get punished, but they're doing so much. Not gonna be able to get out of that lockdown scot-free, I don't think. One player getting detained, but the issue is they've done so much damage whilst that lockdown was activating.
Okay. Little flank, I think, have gone undetected here, actually. An insane double tap active, looking for the second onto Avova. And in the meantime, they try to flip the map, and Medusa has done it. Hunter here to try to keep a lid on this round, but with the overdrive pump, they are brimming with energy. And just like that, a 1v1. They know exactly where Felipe's playing because of the Hunter's Fury. Can they play down this clock?
Gonna have to. There is a recon bolt, but Felipe just too many angles to clear, too much to get done there. The recon bolt on out, but Medusa is not gonna be juked, is not gonna be fooled. And there is a beautiful 4K, a clutch to secure themselves an 8th, and they've conceded one round, and they said that was more than enough.
Oh, that's frustrating. The smoke from the Clove exposes exactly where you're on the spike from, and Medusa's just reaction time here was perfect as well, right? They realize there's a flank, they realize they're a threat, they realize they're no longer safe as their teammates fall around them, so the scale of the CT find 2 and then still pop the overdrive to get the remaining 2. That was an insane 4K clutch for the team. And this is, again, going back to this entire team is aiming. Sandra, again, gonna be tested here. Again, we're seeing maybe the Killjoy nerfs in play or the Sentinel nerfs in play, because I'm not seeing much util here. And I'm waiting for her to just respect the take and play reason for the team, but when your team's dying everywhere else on the map, that becomes difficult as Multi found another multi-kill.
Okay, there's some sort of an answer on site, but it's short-lived there. Vova's going to put a halt to Anva's attempts to try and bring, or stop them realistically. The 9th looking almost certain. Molzy's already done so much. You really don't want to be poking the beast like this. Paranoia is just going to be so on the wounds. Sandra tucking on in, but they are all looking this way. There is no getting out of this alive. You might as well face your death with dignity. And there's a 9th on the board. And Molzy and Mochi, the two of them, the dynamic duo. Just so clean. And you're right, we're not really seeing much utility. The death there onto Anita, I'm a little bit confused because you just lost 2 players over towards A, but you're not suspecting anybody window. It's a little bit unfortunate, but alas, just a show of dominance.
Yeah, I feel like we talk about, okay, how night and day this is from their first best to one on the side of NOVO and Nightingale. And again, I think that's part of the composition, like I mentioned, right? Like they have such a suppressive utility on the opposing side with Deadlock, with Celosun. Here, there's literally nothing that they're scared of. And especially with the evolution active again for Molzy off that 3K, just gonna try to repeat the B success. I swear if they pull in, they tried to save Medusa by there getting in front of it, but fortunately it does not work. But it doesn't matter. It's just 1v1, you win it.
It is certainly starting to fall apart here once more. Early round doesn't go their way, and by the time we've got a minute on the clock, 2-player advantage. And the fact that not a single point of damage has been done to the side of NOVO is It's difficult, it's unfortunate. Now they are just going to have the safety in numbers, more bodies than you have bullets. They're going to overwhelm the C site and actually smoke onto the back there. They're ahead of anything, and you don't really want to push this if you're Anita. You've just got to sit and pull back here. Let them have the site.
Yeah, Swarm Grenade, Shock Dart, you're one like good death away from both. So I am waiting to see Qadsiah have a more cohesive retake unit because it has been very staggered. It has been very individual. They're going to try it this time around even if they don't have full weapons, and it's looking cleaner already.
Ooh, they found the shots here. The issue is lockdown, not really the site to try get this done when they've planted it, so they can try and back away down long, but Foreguns, they're just getting it done with the weaponry. We said the utility is not going to matter. Smoke in the way, but the issue is Hunter's Fury is online, and that is going to stop anybody defusing. The Bova's got the Odin online here, and there's the counter put through the smoke. Are they expecting it? It's already been half, though. Needs to get back on it, 2 versus 1. Getting back on, but I don't think they hear it, just sticking it. But there it is, just at the very last second. And I think they just about got the defuse. It is a hair away from being a kill, and it comes through nonetheless. But a second round, a mercy. And mercy is absolutely the right word to use there for that round.
And I was holding my breath like Sandra was in that moment. I mean, we've praised the late round quick pivots from NOVO, just like they did there, handing off the Odin, supplementing with the Hunter's Fury, and they just thought the smoke would fade in time, right? They maybe didn't even expect it to be halved there with that combo. So again, a huge liberty taken by Qadsiah to get a second round on the board. So they're not gonna have the same blowout they did the first time they played. Might even be a nice little confidence imbue for Sandra as well. Tucked away short. No clearance this time. It's Streamblade fast lane through A main. There's no Sentinel follow-up just yet. They're just going to calm this, get these players back in back sight. Once that coordination we saw last round, it's starting to fall apart.
Spike down
on site is going to once again go the way of NOVO there. Locked out, Spike goes down. They've not really got much opportunity to take space beyond the site though, but there is a flank. Mochi needs to be huge here. This lockdown, they're trying to take it down unfortunately, but it's not going to happen. So much utility expended just to get this lockdown online, and actually the issue is they've got the whole of the site. They don't know where this last player is, but Mochi's so far removed.
It's not even really planted for CT either. They're going to hear the running. A bodyguard posts up, and Sandra delivered for the second time in a row. Wow, that was a beautiful round from Sandra. Staying alive there, like we said, that lockdown completely counters the Mochi lurk. And also, it's bold there. I think it was from Anita as well to fight in while the lockdown is still going there. Realizing, hey, they're trying to fight me short. I need some help. So she puts her life on the line, and though she gets traded, it's just enough to win out the 2v1. So little 9-3 curse action here for Qadsiah fans as a side swap. We said they're pistol masters. They got 2 out of 2 in their opening match here for Project Blender Spotlight. Let's see if they can make it a quadra.
Would be nice, full house. I'm liking the frenzy on Sandra, something a little bit pacier as they head over towards A, but we've got the luck, we've got the knowledge of the mini-map, and we know that it's maybe not necessarily going to be the easiest fight ever. Ryota, there's the ability to go out early on, and the fact that 2 picks come through immediately, the fact that Ryota might be able to find a little bit more there, and Multi can activate, they're just going to crunch down on them. The hydraulic press shuts its mouth, and 10-3. The 9-3 curse only really works if you get that pistol, and that is the full house denied. First pistol lost today for Qadsiah, and it's just so well done. The crunch down on all sides.
Like we said, this composition just brings so much utility-wise to the table. It sets them up. That's just 2 out of 2, by the way, that we've had just like off the barrier rip collisions as well in the pistol rounds. And I'm surprised that we don't see an Qadsiah Stinger Force, like we mentioned. 10-3 is a little hopeless for a long-winded comeback to overtime, but their movements on the Zico speak confidence, and fortunately Mochi is ready for it. Is that a shotgun? That is a shotgun.
It is a charge. The best weapon in the game, and it's good for 1. It might be good for a little bit more. Make that 3. Has to reload, and that's going to be the weakness, but Multi's immediately there to fill the gap. You take 1 down, and just like a Hydra, 2 more heads appear, but it's Multi to chow down on both of them in the 11th now. 11-3. And you said difficult to come back from, and we were seeing confidence from them. Unfortunately, the best way to shut down confidence was pure, brutal aggression there in Garage.
Wow. And honestly, like, between this map and the last one, I got what I asked for, right? The first few rounds of the group stage, we kind of were seeing the challengers, the VCT players kind of lifting up the teams here. I mean, we saw Mochi this map, we saw Lida last map, Mochi's 15-7. And just the support she gets from Molzy here as well, this double Sentinel. And this could be the move, right? When Vito's playable in franchising, but Mochi, they handed the judge back. Fellow kill is not having any of it. The backstab though, the paranoia is perfect here, Infinity!
The reload is messy out in the open, but here we go. Molzy wants a bit more, but Anita actually stands their ground. Medusia needs to find something here. That spike's going to go down. The shock dart just slightly ahead, but it is going to find Anita low HP.
Take flight.
And Ryota, there's going to be the drone going over the top. Just a little bit of information, see what they can find. And actually, it's going to be allowed to get fairly far onto the site. They know there's nobody backside right. So now they push on board. Sandra ahead of all of their expectations. Good for one there, but it's a trade. And Felipe just knows where this last player is. The slide on out though. Medusia, it's perfect. Pixel perfect. And that is going to be map and the series point for them here.
Wow, and it feels like every Novo GC player has had their time in the spotlight this series with that match point coming through. Insane coordination in this trio. The way Mochi's again been able to integrate perfectly with Molzy as well. Like, this has been super, super fun to watch. And QAD, they're finally cleaning up the mistakes a little bit later than I wanted to see, just in terms of the coordination that we expect from this tier of the game changers. But honestly, they look like they've been having fun, right? They switched up the composition, there's more ranked style. And that's also what the offseason about, is just, again, taking the time to play together. Fortunately, though.
Not great.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
history, 13-3.
Oh, not again.
They can feel it. It's super aggressive, but Medusia able to pull out the gun in time. However, over-aggression is going to get punished, but not for Molzy. Sandra is going to find another one with the judge. Weapons upgrade galore. 3 versus 2, but the issue is look at where Novo already are. They already have your name. They've come knocking. Spike goes down, and now trapped. Stuck here. Sandra goes down, and 13-3, 13-3 is how this will go for Qadsiah. And there it is. Map point done.
Absolutely dismaying to go out in this fashion from a Project Blender Spotlight series for Qadsiah. 0-2 eliminated. There is still other open qualifier phases that I hope to see them bounce back in. But speaking of bounce backs, Novo, Nightingale, your victors, insane. I mean, from getting 3-13 to then 13-3, they're probably counting their lucky stars that Qadsiah picked Haven over rerunning Sunset, because boy, this looked so nice, right? They were run down, they were pressed by Util, the solo Mochi, Vito, not enough on the defense. Here with this double duelist setup, like this, I really could see this functioning at the highest levels of Valorant.
So could I, but I've got to pose you a question that we kind of briefly touched on at the start is, do you think there would have been much difference here if we'd seen it go to Sunset instead, given what we saw from Novo in this match?
It depends if they changed the composition or not, which I feel like they would have. I feel like they might have done, like, taking Kara's advice, going for like a Cypher or Vito, then things could have been different, but ran the same comp, I think Qadsiah would have had a lot easier of a time, because right here, they just looked like they were getting oppressed by Util. And again, the confidence Novo was imbued with, what spoke volumes. And I'll say right now, they're gonna need the confidence, because they got a rematch versus S2G in the cards as well, already!
Indeed, the rematch that was foretold, and I think they've warmed up a little bit. This was a confidence booster as well, I think. First match, your first time in the spotlight, you know, speaking not only metaphorically, but in the spotlight tournament here, right? And now you've had a little bit more opportunity. You've had a couple more reps. You're going into your 3rd game of the day, which could be maybe a little bit of a tiring one. You know, it's been a lengthy day for them at this point, but you're feeling a little bit warmer. It's looking a lot more gelled than it was earlier in the day. So I think they're definitely going to be able to put up a little bit more of a fight than what we saw. But Alternity going up against S2G, who's just gone, you know, triple overtime. They're no slackers either, but I'm excited. I think it's definitely going to look a little bit closer, especially if Molzy is playing anything like they did in this map.
Absolutely. I mean, we might have found his new agent there, but I agree. I think they're looking a lot more revitalized. I think it is going to be closer this time up against S2G. I mean, both of them got to watch as well during those downtimes a map of each other as well. I'm hoping that we don't run it back on Sunset. I'm hoping we get a new map for both of these two teams, honestly, because I think that's where we'll have the most level playing field affinity.
I think so indeed. But, I mean, you said it. One last match to kick off the inaugural day here for us. And we're going to go to a little bit of a break to go get that ready for you guys. Go put the finishing touches on. So we'll be back very shortly for our final map of the day.